Geordie Journos here. I don't know if you can hear us amongst all of the Paris noise in and around. There's the Arc de Triomphe behind her. We're going to be doing a little travel vlog. You might not quite be able to see because of the Miss Blackpool Tower. The Eiffel Tower in the background there. But yeah, guys, looking forward to this one, eh? Big one from Eddie Howe this afternoon.
Yeah, like me and Jordan said after the Chelsea game, it feels like a bit of a must-win in a difficult situation for the side. But the Chelsea game, what better way to prepare in terms of the way Newcastle won and the players involved in the game. Obviously, there'll be a few big players out tomorrow night, as well as a couple Jordan's mentioned of the young players and players ineligible for the Champions League. So yeah, big test for Eddie Howe's side, but the one we're looking forward to, and hopefully it's not the last European away day we're on as the Geordie Journos this season.
Yeah, so you're a seasoned traveller here, Dom. You've been to Paris twice. Jordan, what's your first impressions of this wonderful, iconic city?
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at that building behind there, incredible bit of architecture, sculpture. We've just been up close and personal with it, and yeah, it's quite incredible. Looking forward to seeing more of the city over the next 48 hours. Yeah, the Blackpool Tower, the Eiffel Tower, as you said there, looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, first obviously we've got, as you mentioned there, big press coming to Eddie Howe this evening. Lots to talk about. Injuries being the main talking point, but what Eddie Howe hasn't done previously in his away Champions League games is train at the stadium, so we'll actually have access to Eddie Howe's the opening 15 minutes of Newcastle United's training at the stadium this evening, so we'll bring you footage from that. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Right, that's kind of like an iconic European sound in the background there, with sort of sirens wailing past.
Symbolic of Newcastle's injury situation.
Yes, very much so. I hope that isn't another one. And just so you know, we have all brought our boots, just in case Eddie Howe requires any of the Geordie Journos to turn out and fill a space on the bench. We've brought the weather with me here to Paris. It's a bit grim so far, but we'll keep you informed as we go around the city. Right guys, here we are at the Parc de France. We're literally about to get kicked out. There was a guy waving his hands at all of us, saying we need to get out quick. So we'll introduce the video here. We've just been in obviously with Eddie Howe and Nick Pope, so we'll have all of the details on what we've seen. We've seen the players train. Yeah, we'll see you again on the outside of the stadium, because this is where Newcastle United will be performing, fingers crossed, performing to their full ability, which we haven't really seen in the Champions League apart from that one night against these guys last month. Right, here we are, we've been booted out of the Parc de France. That's how you say it, isn't it, Jordan?
I think so. I'm not trying myself. I'm not trying to pronounce it myself.
Pronunciation is not your strong suit, but we'll let you off. Right.
Thanks, lads.
I'll quickly run over what we heard. Obviously, you spoke to Nick Pope, spoke to Eddie Howe, and then we'll come on to the training session as well. Dom, do you want to talk through the main points from Eddie Howe?
The main points, obviously, huge game, Newcastle going in, needing to win really. It's either that or they're relying on results elsewhere, defeat out the competition. So yeah, simple. Eddie Howe spoke about Sean Longstaff, hasn't travelled, Joe Willock, no update on him, and the decision to train at the stadium for the first time was sort of influenced by the recovery time and also just trying something different. Newcastle, it just hasn't clicked on the road in the Champions League so far this season, and that's come from they've trained at Darsley Park on the Monday before travelling on the Tuesday and then travelling on the Monday and then playing on the Tuesday. So a bit of a change for Newcastle. Eddie Howe mentioned maybe the players would prefer that, spending more time with the family and stuff like that and time to recover. So yeah, we'll see whether it has a positive effect tomorrow night.
You keep looking there. That's anybody who doesn't really can't
tell.
Yeah,
you can't tell, but
this is where Newcastle need to be playing.
No San Siro.
What kind of? I'll just do a little spin around. We're kind of outside the club shop here. If you fancy any Christmas presents for anybody and you're on your way here, that's where you'll find it. Right, Jordan, I'll have my own comment on the Nick Pope press conference, because you guys have seen the quotes, you've seen what was said and what wasn't said, a lot of England talk and that kind of stuff. But there was one question that particularly riled me in some ways, so I'll come on to the Nick Pope bit. Talk us through, Jordan, the training session, what we've seen and what we didn't see.
Yeah, so again we've seen a depleted squad. We don't want to reflect too much on the injuries, but 14 senior players missing tomorrow, and even the likes of the youngsters that came off the bench on Saturday against Chelsea, Amadou Diallo, Alex Murphy, they're also ineligible to feature here as well. So we've seen a call up.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but what a pathetic rule from UEFA. You've got young lads who want to get minutes under their belt, a potential opportunity in a competition they might never see again in their career, and all because they haven't been signed for 2 years, 24 months. Get in the bin, UEFA. That is honestly pathetic. Sorry, Jordan, carry on.
No, I'm glad you got it in there, because you did mention that earlier. I didn't think you were going to mention it, but it is a pathetic rule. But anyway, it was an opportunity for another player. So Ben Parkinson has been called up. Obviously, Lewis Miley, who might start. And there was another.
Apologies with the wind getting up there.
It's putting me off. But yeah, the surprise addition was James Huntley, 19-year-old midfielder. So we've seen a lot of young lads called up to the squad in recent weeks, and James Huntley is the newest member, if you like. So yeah, we've seen 13, 14 players that can't play tomorrow, senior players that can't play tomorrow in action, and also the kids as well. So it was the first 15 minutes we got to see. It went over in a flash, didn't it? We didn't get to see too much. We spent most of the time
side of the pitch, wasn't it?
We spent most of the time trying to work out who James Huntley actually was, because if you see the videos from which you'll see over here actually over this clip, that we were actually that end of the end of the stadium when Newcastle were training from. So unfortunately, Dom, you didn't bring your binoculars on this occasion, which you do tend to do sometimes. So we did eventually
dig that pitch out if you can.
yeah. So we did eventually manage to work out who was there, but I say limited options, which again creates a very difficult game tomorrow.
Right, so I'm going to go to the Nick Pope. Obviously, Nick Pope press conference, I mentioned lots of talk of what he feels about not being in the England setup, no conversations at all with the likes of Gareth Southgate, and sort of sounds like he's been cut out in the cold largely. We're very focused on making sure he's the best version of himself that he can be for Newcastle United. One question by one of the French journalists, the last question of the press conference, I thought Nick Pope maybe missed a little bit of an opportunity to answer this question in a manner which was befitting of this team and his squad members, and I'm going to answer it for him properly. The question was that remind me of the question. Fluke.
Yes, the suggestion, the 4-1 win over PSG at St James's Park was a fluke.
And do Newcastle United need to prove that they've got that kind of level of performance in them, and that it isn't a fluke? Come on, just do your homework. What's all this about? You don't beat Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Manchester City, week after week after week in the Premier League, and call it a fluke, all because you don't beat Borussia Dortmund and don't beat AC Milan. Absolutely ludicrous. I'm not having it. Do your homework, French journalists. It's a simple way to go about.
I hope no one's here.
I know. I was going to say, yeah. No, seriously though, the Premier League is the best league in the world, the best club competition in the world. Newcastle United are no flukes. They finished 4th in it last year. They're 6, 7 in and around that mix again this year, and they'll have a good fight at getting in the top 4 or 5 if needed this year. It's no fluke. You don't go to Old Trafford and win, having just beaten Arsenal, having beaten Chelsea, and then beaten Manchester City. You don't produce performances and results like that on a consistent basis and call it a fluke. So yes, maybe one Champions League win, one game, you could potentially call it a fluke, and I think that's the route he was going down. But really, there's no mugs in the Premier League, there's no mugs in the best league in the world, and Newcastle United, fingers crossed, will prove to everybody that there are no mugs in this Group F as well as they do in the Premier League as well. Right, what's my next topic of conversation?
Well, it's freezing cold here, so
it is. And the wind is catching again, so apologies if you've got your earphones in there.
Wait for it to die down. Yeah, we'll probably cut it a little bit short, but yeah, you have a bone to pick with Kylian Mbappe, don't you, Liam?
I
comments made a few years ago.
I mean, seriously, all that rubbish on the plane with Antoine Griezmann, where he says, "Oh, it's a bit cold there. It's a bit cold in Newcastle." Bloody lives here. It's freezing. It's colder here than when we got on the plane in England, in Manchester. When we left Newcastle. Timestamp this. We left at 2 a.m. On Monday morning.
Still Monday now, by the way. It doesn't feel
well, when's the video going to go up? We don't know. We don't know with the internet connections, so it could be Tuesday when you see this. Yeah, we left, and it was much warmer in Newcastle at that ungodly hour, and at Manchester at sort of 5, 6 o'clock in the morning as well. it's cold here in Paris. If you're coming, get the big coat. Make sure you've got a couple of layers on you, because it's going to be a cold one tomorrow. And yeah, Kylian Mbappe, seriously, mate, you live here. You've lived here all your life. You can't be calling Newcastle cold, because yes, it might be a bit windy and a bit blustery at times, but this is icy here in Paris. Fingers crossed Newcastle United will warm the place up with their incredible performance. Us Geordie journals will be trying our best to warm your spirits, win, lose or draw here at the Parc de France. We'll give you another little look around. Anything else to add, lads, before I run through the T's and C's?
Permutations tomorrow, quite a big one really, because we were talking in the press room there about what Newcastle have to do, and really they probably have to go and win here tomorrow, don't they?
Yeah. 2 wins, I think, is what puts Newcastle United through.
Guarantees it.
Yes, it does, and I think that's what they need to aim for. So fingers crossed we see the first of them here in Paris tomorrow night. And even if you don't, you'll still see me live after the game. You can come in and have a conversation, have a chat, and you'll see these guys either side by me as well. The Geordie Journos. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Click the bell for all your Geordie Journos content.